Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to the channel. We have a new moon in Scorpio this week that I am so psyched for. Where do you have Scorpio in your birth chart? It's going to be at 28 degrees of Scorpio and it's going to be right on top of Mercury retrograde. So, this is a really exciting new moon, especially if I posted about this on TikTok and Instagram and a lot of people were saying it was their birthday, which is no surprise to me that I tracked a lot of Scorpios. But I'm like, if it's your birthday, that means it's in your solar return chart. So it is going to be a theme for you of the year ahead. And in general, it's going to be a big theme of stepping into a new cycle, closing out the old, letting it die, and having a rebirth so we can step into 2026 with new energy and really build this next chapter of our life on a solid foundation with nothing from the past keeping us stuck in old cycles remaining. Okay, I'm going to be doing a YouTube video for 2026, so look out for that soon. I also do a whole deep dive of the year ahead in my membership, and I do it live in there. It's like hours long. I do a month by month play by play, so come join my membership if you want to join that live, but I will be doing an overall for each rising sign on my YouTube as well. And I'll be using my trusty astrology planner that just came in the mail. I'm so excited about the 2026 version this year. I've gotten one every single year since I think 2020. And I just love these so much. Not only is it like a planner, but it's also a guidebook to astrology. So it has a page on each like new moon and full moon, and it gives you like the month's transits, and it tells you what days are best for certain things. So it's literally kind of like a guidebook, and great for you if you're new to astrology and want to learn the basics and want to have like a reference guide to learning the transits as well. It's super great. It's not mine. I didn't make this. I work with a company. You can get a discount through my affiliate link. They're amazing. Their planners are amazing. The special edition color usually sells out. This is special edition pomegranate, I believe is the color, velvet this year. It's really cool. They usually do vegan leather ones, but they did a special velvet and I'm in love with it. So check it out. You get, like I said, a discount through my affiliate link, which should be in the description. If not, let me know. And yeah, they usually sell out. So get yours before the end of the year. I'm really excited about 2026. Just looking ahead, there's a page that has like all of the ingresses of planets and all of the retrograde cycles that we're going to be having in 2026, and all of the eclipses, the new moons and full moons is all on one page. And this is like such a reference guide for me to just see when certain retrogrades are going to start and what sign they're going to be in. We're going to have retrogrades next year, all in water signs. And I'm so excited because it's like we're really in a great time period right now of spiritual awakening, of connecting back to our divinity, of realizing our power as a creator of our lives, right? I've been talking about this a lot lately. And this week is all about, since we have this new moon in Scorpio on Mercury retrograde, this week specifically is all about really embracing your power and remembering your power to change your life in the ways that you want to, and what needs to be felt within yourself. What do you need to look at within yourself? What needs attention? What needs like, hey, I'm over here, I want you to look at me, like feel me, so that I can heal, and so that we can love on these parts of ourselves that we've been neglecting or avoiding. That's really what this time period is right now, to go within and to look at what within yourself needs more attention and needs more love, so that we can move forward with that part of ourselves, like not calling for our attention and creating these how do I say, like unhealthy patterns and dynamics, and replaying these stories in our lives that we don't want to keep living. Like right now is such a big time of endings. We're in a 9-year, all about healing and closing out old cycles so that we can fully step into the new with nothing from the past with us in the new chapter. And I think next year in 2026, we're going to have all of these Mercury retrogrades and water signs just really kind of showing us maybe where we haven't like done that within ourselves yet, because water is all about the emotions. It's all about, are you feeling? Are you healing? From the feeling, right? Feel it, heal it, like is not just this cliche thing. Like it is very true. We have to really go to the depths, and that doesn't mean get stuck in the feelings. It just means acknowledge them, love them, and know that we can write a new story for ourselves. And that's empowerment. That's really being and embracing yourself as the creator of your life that you are. So this week is really going to be a kind of amplification and illumination of that, and what in our lives we really need to change in order to step into that more so fully and really claim our sovereignty, really claim our power that we have to create what we want in this world. You know, if we're so focused on what's wrong with the world, if we're so focused on all the things we don't like about the world or our life, we're just perpetuating that. So we have to really daydream and really go within ourselves of like, okay, what do I want? How do I focus on that? How do I really be aware of what I'm consuming that's keeping me stuck in an old cycle or deterring me away from what I want? And how can I focus more on what I want as if it's already here, right? This is like basic manifestation stuff. I plan to do an embodiment course soon on I've been talking about this since the summer, I believe, or maybe it was last spring. I did a poll on my Instagram stories talking about like doing a course on embodied astrology and human design. And it's really like coming together recently for me on like what I want to do, how I want to teach it. And I'm really excited about it because I'm going to teach a lot of these principles inside that course of like how to really embody these things, how to feel into them, how to strengthen and trust your intuition, because your intuition is really what is guiding you through life. And we get so consumed and so caught up in our heads and our mind. And that's where all, I don't want to say like wrong things, but that's where all chaos comes from, is when we're overly reliant on our mind and focused on things that we don't want. We're just perpetuating them. So anyways, I feel like I'm like going in circles with this message, but that is what I want to talk more about. That is what I want to share more about. And this week is really an illumination for that in the collective and for all of us, of learning like, okay, if I want this thing, I have to like focus on it. And I have to stop telling myself the story of like whatever my current circumstance or experiences or whatever has happened in the past that's prevented me from getting the thing that I want. I have to focus on the future. I have to look ahead to what I want instead of looking at the past, because you're just going to recreate the past if you keep looking at it. Okay. So anyways, all of that is coming to a head this week because we're going to have, like I said, the new moon on Mercury retrograde. It's also going to be opposite Uranus, and then the sun is going to be opposite Uranus, and then we have Sagittarius season beginning. So a lot of these changes are going to be taking hold this week. A lot is going to be illuminated on what we need to change and what we need to really take accountability and responsibility for. Big theme of Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries as well. What about yourself and identity? Do you need to take accountability and responsibility for, and know that you can change it? And you are literally creating the world you're living. So the sooner you acknowledge that and wake up to that truth of like that you are the ultimate creator, the sooner things can change, and the sooner things can get better. So that is the major energy of this week. And as we end out this 9-year with the North Node in Pisces, all about trusting our intuitions. And that's going to continue to be a theme and well into 2026. So yeah, all exciting things. Okay, is there anything else I want to share about this week? No, nothing else is coming through. So without further ado, let's get into the horoscopes. Okay, Aries Rising, we start the week off with the focus on your relationships. So you're going to be emotionally focused on your relationships, and there might be some triggers or wounds that are brought up around your sense of self, maybe from the people around you or from your relationships. There's a lot changing through inner reflection on your belief systems and your perspectives of life and how you're choosing to view the world around you, and how your belief systems and how you talk about things and what you say and how you say it is playing into what you're creating and what you're actually experiencing. So there's a lot of reevaluation around that. And then Mercury moves back into your 8th house Tuesday into Wednesday. So there might be a lot of reevaluation focused on money. I mean, that's been a huge focus of Scorpio season for you in general, and going to be a big focus of this new moon is like, what new seeds are you planting as it relates to your resources, your investments, maybe debt or taxes? And you might be really rethinking a lot of that stuff of like how you want to go about it differently, or what you need to change, or what you need to like restructure or just be more diligent about. There's a lot of, I've been talking about this with you for a couple weeks now. I feel like Aries is there's a lot of inner world stuff happening. There's a lot of like inner reflection that these things are calling you towards this week, especially early in the week as we gear up to this new moon. We have Wednesday into Thursday, depending on where you are in the world. It's gonna really call you to look deeper at your own inner world and what is going on there and what you need to really like feel and look at. Maybe something that has been like a pattern or a cycle has been replaying itself for a while. And it's like, okay, what is that calling your attention towards within yourself to look at and to accept and love? And maybe stop beating yourself up about it or coming from the lens of like this negative mindset with it. It's choosing to see the higher perspective of it. And then after the full new moon, why did I want to say full moon? After the new moon, we have Wednesday, Thursday. On Thursday, the moon is going to move into Sagittarius and really put this emotional focus on your perspective and maybe whatever you received downloads about or insight about with the new moon. It's like, okay, you're going to be implementing it as we end out the week. And you're going to be really focused on what do I need to change about my belief systems to match up with what I want. And maybe even getting more clarity about what you want your long-term goals and visions to look like, and kind of recalibrating your life to match up to that. There could be something around that you take action on Friday. There's a lot of momentum to take action on Friday. And then Saturday, we have Sagittarius season beginning. So that will be illuminating even more so your perspective of life and your belief systems, and maybe even some spiritual practices you need to get back to in order to like really feel more centered and feel more grounded in your life, and maybe have more of a positive mindset about how you're viewing things. Um, Later on Saturday, the moon moves into Capricorn, into your area of career and public image. So you really could be focused over the weekend on how do I want to be known to the world? What do I need to change about that? Maybe within your career, what you're doing for work. There could be some job you're releasing, some new career or reputation or public image you're wanting to step into. And you could be actually like making the steps or taking the steps to make it happen over the weekend. So that is the week ahead for you, Aries. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Taurus Rising. We start the week off on Monday with the moon in your area of work and your area of physical health as well. So there might be something that happens on Monday that you get clarity about. Maybe a like subconscious wound was kind of triggered over the weekend or on Monday, that kind of had you looking at something differently as it relates to how you take care of yourself and your routine. So there might be something you really want to reevaluate there. And then later on Mondays, we're starting now to gear up to this new moon in Scorpio that we have in your area of relationships. Wednesday into Thursday, like there's a big emotional focus the first half of the week on other people in your life, on your relationships, maybe what needs to change with them or what needs to change about your approach to your relationships, specifically like your communication styles. And maybe this is bringing up themes of self-worth or bringing up stuff about your values you want to change. It's all kind of related as well to something in your identity that's shifting, something about you that's shifting, maybe your appearance or your sense of self, or again, like really having you go deep into these wounds around self-worth or values, appearance, beauty, to kind of do some inner love around them to shift them. That's really your focus for the first half of the week, especially with the new moon we have Wednesday into Thursday. There could be something on Tuesday that you get more clarity around as it relates to that, like this kind of maybe emotional wake-up call with your relationships, and maybe how old patterns have been creating certain things within your relationships and what needs to shift there. And again, like all of this is kind of, you're getting more clarity as we lead up to the new moon that we have Wednesday into Thursday. And then there could be some breakthrough that happens around the new moon, either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where you are in the world, as it relates to what's going on and you know, with other people in your life, and how this sense of self that you're changing or this identity that's shifting for you is playing into those themes and making some necessary changes to shift how it's showing up in your life based on your inner world. As we get into Thursday, the moon moves into Sagittarius, into your area of resources, of investments, of taxes, of debt. So you might get clarity about some money stuff as well. Maybe that came up around the new moon too, of like how you want to approach making money differently, or how you want to invest differently, or diversify your resources, or pay off debt, or anything related to like money. There might be some big things that you take action on with that Thursday and Friday, especially on Friday. There could be something that you're like, okay, no, I'm doing this. And there's this a big emotional drive towards it. And then as we get into Saturday, we have Sagittarius season beginning in your eighth house. This could be a time of spiritual awakening. This could be a time of, again, getting more clarity about resources, what you want to do with money, things like that, clearing up stuff. But it could also be like maybe there's a spiritual awakening happening for you, a sense of expansion happening with your intuition and your abilities and things like that, that you're getting more clarity on, and that's showing up for you in a new, more expansive way. Also on Saturday, the moon moves into Capricorn, into your area of how you view life, and also your relationship with spirituality. So there could be this emotional focus over the weekend on like kind of making how do I say that? Like putting what you realize throughout the week into action, and really implementing new systems or new structures within your mindset to kind of line up with all these shifts that you want to make in your life. And that's the week ahead for you, Taurus. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Gemini Rising. We start the week off with the moon in your area of creativity. So you could be spending more time with people over the weekend or at the start of the week, but that could also maybe trigger something, or maybe there's something you're dealing with on Monday that came up over the weekend about your community, your friendships, maybe even like your long term goals and visions, as well as getting this kind of reevaluation, and you're realizing maybe what you want to shift about how you're moving forward. I feel like there's a lot of money, a lot of work, a lot of career stuff coming up for you at this time. And you might be getting a lot more clarity about how to go about that and how to move forward with these things you're realizing you want to change, especially as we're gearing up for the new moon in Scorpio. We have Wednesday into Thursday. The first half of the week is really going to be an emotional focus for you on your work, on your day-to-day routine, on your maybe even how you're taking care of your physical health more, like going back to the gym, or really solidifying in some sort of routine to ground yourself and to have this kind of maybe work-life balance with things as well. There could be something, like I said, like a new career you want to step into, or new job. There could be a lot of clarity that comes through around how to do that this week as well, or what you want to do moving forward. Especially on Tuesday, as the moon moves over Venus, there could be this emotional drive to really get clarity on your values and your self-worth as it relates to what you do for work and how you make money. And maybe, your sense of self has kind of been changing, and so maybe what you do for work no longer aligns with how you want to change, or how you have changed yourself. And then there could be something that comes to a head around all that with the new moon. We have Wednesday night or Thursday morning, depending on where you are in the world. There's this opportunity to really set new intentions and have a new beginning with what you do for work and how you make money. And also like how that plays into what you do on a daily basis in your routine. Later on Thursday, we have the moon moving into your area of relationships. So there could be a trip you take with somebody, or there could just be this realization that you want to have more freedom in what you do for work. So you can have more adventures and spend more time with friends that you love, or go on adventures, or travel with people that you love, that kind of thing. You're getting more clarity on, again, like what your relationships look like, what you want them to look like, and what needs to change about what you're doing on a daily basis to line up with that. There could be some emotional drive that you have to take action towards a relationship on Friday. Maybe that's like reaching out to a friend, traveling, or going on an adventure with somebody. It feels like a lot more fun and lighthearted than earlier in the week was feeling. And then late on Friday, we begin Sagittarius season in your area of relationships. So there's a lot of focus on your relationships starting at the end of this week. And as we get into Sagittarius season, there's a lot of focus on who is around you, what are you doing with them, and are your relationships really cultivating a sense of joy for you in your life? As we get into Saturday, the moon moves into your area of resources. So there could be some stuff you're changing, maybe again about money, maybe looking at investments or looking at debt, looking at taxes, things like kind of just cleaning up money to support this career change that you're stepping into or whatever, however that's showing up for you. It's like, okay, getting really practical about what needs to change or what you need to want to do differently as it relates to that, and then putting the systems and structures in place to support that over the weekend. And that is how the week ahead will go for you. Gemini, let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Cancer Rising. We start the week off with the moon in your area of home. There could be some things emotionally you're wrapping up with home or with family as we start the week. And then later on Monday, the moon moves into your area of creativity and passions and romance and dating. So there could be some things about that that you're getting more clarity around, especially as we build up early in the week to the new moon. We have Wednesday into Thursday. There could be a lot you get clarity around with your romance or your dating or creative passions and what maybe needs to change about those things to just feel more in alignment with what is changing about your life or what you want to change about your life. Especially on Tuesday, as the moon moves over Venus, there's this sense of getting emotional clarity around how you want to make money through your creative pursuits or your values and dating that have changed, and how you can really just start to embody those more or really live those more. I think that's going to be a big theme of the full moon or why do I keep wanting to say full moon, the new moon as well that we have in Scorpio on Mercury retrograde. There's a lot that you're reevaluating about your creative passions, your pursuits when it comes to your creativity or when it comes to dating and romance. So there's a lot that you're getting clarity around and wanting to kind of set intentions to have some sort of new story or new journey with that in your life. So there's a big focus on, okay, getting this emotional clarity to have that space to set those intentions and have this new beginning really manifest over the next 6 months. As we get into Thursday, the moon moves into your area of work. So you could be focused on work. You could be focused on like your routine and maybe what changes you want to make there related to like what you got clarity around with the new moon and with this Mercury retrograde. There's on Thursday and Friday, there's this emotional drive to really take action on making changes to your day to day or your work, maybe even how money is coming in for you. Could also apply to what you're doing to take care of your physical health. There could be some things that you're really wanting to change as it relates to that. And there's a lot of momentum and drive to do that Thursday and Friday. Also on Friday, the sun moves into your area of day-to-day routine, moves into your sixth house and into Sagittarius. Sagittarius season begins, and there is an illumination of what you're doing on a daily basis, how you're making money, and what changes maybe you've been wanting to make there. And maybe there's a lot of more momentum towards taking action on it, or it all kind of coming together is the vibe. Kind of like you can't ignore the changes you've wanted to make. Like they're all at the forefront of what you're doing, and the time to take action is really now as we get into the weekend. And then on Saturday, the moon moves into your area of relationships. You could be focused on like maybe what you're reevaluating about dating and romance. You want to also bring into your, every relationship you have. The seventh house, this area of your life isn't just about romantic relationships. It's also about everybody that's around you. So over the weekend, you could be focused on your relationships in every aspect on who you have around you, and maybe setting some boundaries in place to only, spend time with people that really bring you joy, that really feel good to you to be around, and that really line up with this way that your values have changed. And really implementing that over the weekend is the energy. So that is the week ahead for you, Cancer. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Leo Rising. We start the week off with the moon in your area of day to day, of your area of communication and your belief systems, who you go who you talk to on a daily basis, where you go on a daily basis. So there could be some things you're realizing you want to shift about that, maybe like especially about who you talk to, and how long maybe you spend with certain people. There could be things that came up over the weekend about that you're taking action on at the start of the week. Later on Monday, the moon moves into your area of home. There could be a lot of revelations you're getting around home or family, especially on Tuesday as the moon moves over Venus, and you might get this emotional clarity about your values with home or with family and what changes need to be made in order to line up with those values, or maybe even sense of self or worthiness with you that has changed, and maybe some boundaries need to be set or something, so that you feel good about the people you're spending time around as it relates to like your home and your family life. And this is leading up to the new moon we have in your area of home and family, Wednesday into Thursday. This could be you moving to be around more people that you actually want to be around, that you actually enjoy being with and around. Or this could just be setting your home up for that, or setting up your kind of, yeah, like your inner world, your inner space to support that as well, is the theme. Then we have the new moon Wednesday into Thursday in your area of home and family. So there's a lot of like, okay, what have you been reevaluating about your home that you want to change, or your family that you want to change, your inner world, and what new beginning are you setting or intentions to have with that area of your life. Then as we get into Thursday, the energy is on really taking action based on what you realized you want to change. Maybe in your career too. Maybe you're realizing you want to change something about your career to line more up with your goals and your values with home or family. Then as we get Thursday into Friday, the moon is going to be moving through your area of romance, of creative passions as well. So there could be something you're emotionally driven to take action on as it relates to that, a creative passion, or something with dating, something with romance, maybe even children too, if that applies. But really, Thursday, Friday, as we get into the weekend, the focus is on what is inspiring you, what are you creating, what are you passionate about, and making more time to really do it and put it out into the world. Then we have Sagittarius season beginning Friday in this area of your life. So that's going to continue to be the focus for the next 4 weeks, is on your creative pursuits and passions, maybe on dating or romance too, if that's how it's showing up for you. But in general, it's going to be on just having more passion in your life. Then as we get into the weekend, the moon moves into your area of day-to-day work. You might really be starting to implement the things you realize you want to change about your work or career, and starting to take action towards doing that, putting systems or structures into place in order to have these changes line up on a solid foundation and really support how you're moving forward in your life and what's changing. So that's the week ahead for you, Leo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Virgo Rising. We start the week off on Monday with the moon in your area of money. So there could have been some wounds around money that were brought up over the weekend, that maybe you're just processing and integrating on Monday about what needs to change within yourself, and maybe what patternings or things that have come up for you around that need more love, need more attention, so you can really shift how your relationship with money is and showing up in your actual life. That could be a big theme of the new moon we have in your area of communication, your area of belief systems, Wednesday into Thursday, because this is the buildup of the new moon. And we had the new moon in Libra in this area for you about a month ago. So what was coming up then? And this is kind of like, okay, but what about your communication needs to change, or what about where you go or who you talk to on a daily basis needs kind of a transformation as well, to support what you're calling in this area of your life that's different from what your experience of it has been in the past. There could be something on Tuesday you get emotionally clear about, you get emotional clarity around, as we have the moon moving over Venus in your area of day to day, like who you're going to, or where you're going, who you're talking to, what you're doing on a daily basis, could really be getting a reevaluation of like, how do I want to go about this differently? Like, what is really aligned with my values? What is really aligned with what I want for myself and my resources moving forward? And then we have the new moon Wednesday night into Thursday morning, depending on where you are in the world in this area of your life. And Mercury retrograde is back in this area for you as well. So there's a reevaluation on your mindset, your belief systems, your communication, and maybe on really how there's been this communication and focus on like cheap or lack of money or whatever. And you're like really kind of connecting the dots of how it all plays into your experience with money and making those necessary changes. To your mindset so that you change your perspective so that you have a different experience with money if that's something that you're realizing you really want, right? And then kind of implementing it as we get later into the week. Then we get into Thursday, and after the new moon, you will have the moon in your area of home and family. You could be really focused emotionally on home, on family, maybe on making some changes to your inner world, even, or things that came from or passed down from family that you really want to change. There's this big emotional drive on Friday to take action on what you got clarity around earlier this week and maybe have been getting a lot of clarity around for the past weeks or months, and how to take action on it, like as it relates to what you want to change or what needs to change in your home, your family, or your inner world, right? There's this big drive to do something about it on Friday. And then as we get into the weekend, that's also the focus because we have Sagittarius season beginning in your area of home and family. So there's a lot of focus and illumination of your inner world, your home life, your family life, and maybe again like implementing these changes you're realizing you want to make to that, to those things in your life. Later on Saturday, the moon moves into Capricorn, into your area of creativity. So there could be a lot of like maybe you really did a lot of shadow love, is what I like to call it, and like you really went into your inner world and looked at what you wanted to shift there and wanted to like really just love on so that it doesn't keep repeating the same things. And then there's like this creative inspiration or this creative kind of these downloads that come in about how to move forward and maybe how to shift some things with your creative passions or projects, or maybe even dating and romance. And over the weekend, it feels like you're going to be putting those systems and structures into place that you realized you need to have more of in your life, to just have everything line up with how you envision it moving forward. So that's your week ahead, Virgo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Libra Rising. We start the week off on Monday with the moon in your area of you, in Libra, in your area of you. And there could be something Monday that maybe or maybe even on Sunday, and you process it on Monday that kind of triggers you as it relates to somebody in your life. Somebody in your life could trigger you emotionally and trigger maybe a sense of self or identity that's really shifting. And really changing within you. And then later on Monday, the moon moves into your area of money. So there's really this emotional focus on your resources and on your possessions, and maybe you want to make more money, or you want to change how you're spending it, or what you want to change how you're making it, that kind of thing. There's a lot of emotional focus, especially with this new moon, because this is where it's going to be for you in your area of money, on what new intentions do you want to set with money in your life? How do you, again, want to make it that's more aligned with you? What do you want to do with it that's more aligned for you? And realizing the power that you have to call it in. I mean, you're ruled by Venus. So there could be on Tuesday into Wednesday, there could be this like emotional clarity around that of like seeing your value or seeing your worth and realizing like, I have so much to give, I have so much to share, and I just need to like put it out into the world, and it's going to bring in what I need, or what I'm realizing like I want based on maybe your goals have changed, or again, your sense of self is kind of going through a transformation. So you could really be stepping into a new version of yourself and realizing like, yeah, I want to make more money to line up with that. And that's going to be a big theme of the new moon that we have Wednesday night into Thursday, depending on where you are in the world. There could be a lot of clarity about that comes in, and feeling this like charge, this emotional drive to really make the changes that you want to see in your life from an internal, like a really big internal perspective shift. It feels like it's going to be coming for you on Thursday with this new moon. And then later on Thursday, the moon moves into your area of communication and belief systems and how you talk about things, what you believe about things. So there's a lot of emotional focus as we end out the week on who you talk to, what you talk about, where you go on a daily basis, and how that is either perpetuating an old cycle or helping you to step into the new cycle. So that's going to be a really big emotional focus Thursday into Saturday. And on Friday, there could be this big emotional drive to take action on changing something about that in your day to day, maybe related to, like, again, your mindset, your belief system about stuff. Also, Sagittarius season begins on Friday, so there's going to be an illumination, big illumination of where you go on a daily basis, who you talk to, what you do, and on your communication styles and mindset that play into all of that, and really an illumination on what needs to change about it so that it is in alignment with where you are going, where you're headed versus where you have been. On Saturday, early on Saturday, there could be some healing around that happens, maybe because of somebody in your life, because of a relationship or something. You might get clarity on maybe some mindset shifts that need to change. And then later on Saturday, the moon moves into your area of home and family. So as we end out the weekend, you're going to be really emotionally focused on home and family, and maybe setting up some things there that really support you based on what you gained clarity around all week. So that's the week ahead for you, Libra. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Scorpio rising. We start the week off with the moon in your area of the subconscious, of the past lives. So you could be really, like, internally focused at the start of the week, and maybe something in your work or something about your health really triggered you, and it triggered you to emotionally really look at what's going on underneath the surface of the thing, because that's what happens with triggers. Your Scorpio rising, you know that when we're triggered, it's because we have to really look at something, because it still obviously bothers us. It's still calling for our attention to really look at what's going on underneath the surface that's causing us to still feel that way about it. Otherwise, it wouldn't grab our attention in that way. So there's a lot of focus, especially the first half of this week for you, Scorpio, on yourself, on what maybe needs to transform or what needs a deeper look. In your kind of inner world, and what needs maybe more love or more attention, or there's this big focus on you and stepping into this maybe new identity and transforming the old, like really stepping into and embracing a new version of yourself with this new moon. That's going to be the biggest focus of it for you. You might get more clarity on Wednesday about what is going on for that with you, maybe like stepping into a new version of worthiness, or really aligning with, your values in a bigger way than you had previously, or really just kind of not taking bullshit anymore. And that's a new version of you that you're stepping into. There's just a lot of changes that relates to your sense of self, and there's this push and focus, especially with the new moon Wednesday into Thursday, on what new beginning do you want to have with you, with your sense of self, and your identity, and what needs to change to kind of line up with that. Maybe what needs to change about your mindset as well, because Mercury retrograde is a part of this new moon. So maybe you need to talk to yourself differently, and talk to yourself with more love or more compassion or whatever. And really, that's going to help you step into this version of you that's like shedding its skin and becoming something new. Later on Thursday, the moon moves into your area of money. There's a lot of focus at the end of the week on your money, and maybe taking action towards something that you've been wanting to do to make money. Especially on Friday, as the moon moves over Mars in your area of money and possessions, there's this big emotional drive to take action on something related to how you make money or something with money. Also, again, coming at this from like, okay, what belief systems are playing into that I need to let go of, so that I can have what I want moving forward and not stay stuck in the past. Later on Friday, Sagittarius season begins in your area of money. So there's going to be a lot of illumination of this over the next coming weeks as well. Of, again, what about your belief systems or stories you tell yourself need to change with money so that your experience with money changes. Big focus of that as we end out the weekend. And then later on Saturday, the moon moves into your area of communication, of your belief systems, of day-to-day routines. So there might be something you need to change about where you go or who you talk to on a daily basis, maybe even about your living situation, so that you can better support yourself in having these different experiences that you are realizing you want. It's like putting the structures and the systems in place, laying the foundation to have that over the weekend. So that's the week ahead for you, Scorpio. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Sagittarius rising. We start the week off with the moon in your area of friendships, of community, of long term goals and visions. You might be getting clarity. Maybe there's been a lot of criticism of your creations, of your passions. Maybe within romance or dating too, there's a lot of like wounds and triggers that are being brought up, and you might be processing those early on Monday and just kind of really feeling maybe emotional about them, and making necessary changes to your inner world or your belief systems to not have that pattern keep repeating in the way that it has. That could be a big theme of the new moon we have in your area of subconscious as well, like your inner world, and maybe what's been going on in your inner world that's been hidden from you. Especially on Tuesday, there could be something you get emotional clarity around as it relates to your values or self worth or themes that have been playing into that for you that haven't been so positive or helpful for the creation of what you want. So, as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, we have that new moon late on Wednesday, early on Thursday, depending on where you are in the world. It's going to be on Mercury retrograde as well. So, there's a lot of big themes brought up in your subconscious around your belief systems, around your mindset, how you talk about things internally and externally as well, and what new beginnings you want to have there, and setting those intentions to have that beginning and really move forward with nothing from the past bogging you down. There could be something you are also called to change about how you do work or go about work, or something about your physical and mental health as well. On Thursday, the moon moves into your area of you. So this is an emotional renewal. This is kind of like, okay, I looked at the dark stuff that was calling for my attention in my inner world or in my subconscious, and I feel emotionally clear because I dealt with it, because I looked at it, because I loved on it. And there's this big emotional renewal. There could be something around you, your sense of self emotionally, that you really want to take action on Friday as well. There's this big emotional drive towards changing something about you. Maybe it is just a belief system. Maybe it is just how you present yourself to the world. Or maybe it's a big internal shift of how you view yourself. There's something that really clicks and changes on Friday. Later on Friday as well, we have Sagittarius season beginning. So, yay, the sun is moving into your first house, into your area of you. This is a renewal of the self. This is an illumination of you. And yeah, I love when the sun is in the first house because it's just so, you just feel yourself so much more. There's an illumination. You're getting more attention. You're getting more, like you're in the spotlight more, like people are noticing you more. So there, it really does feel like, okay, I did the inner work and now I see it like externally showing up in the world around me, and the world confirming to me that like I looked at what I needed to look at to clear it. There could be something on Saturday that happens with that maybe is a little bit challenging within your home or within your family, but that won't. That's just a kind of temporary emotional thing. And then later on Saturday, the moon moves into your second house, into your area of money. So you might be more emotionally focused on money and resources. Maybe got clarity around that with this new moon, and maybe some things you want to change about money or resources or possessions, and putting the systems and the structures in the place to make that happen is what you're going to be focused on over the weekend. So that is the week ahead for you, Sagittarius. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Capricorn Rising. We start the week off with the moon in Libra in your area of career and public image. So you might at the beginning of the week be really focused on how you want to be perceived. Maybe you're getting more clarity about that and how you want to show up to the world, what you want to be known for, maybe about your career, and getting more downloads and just kind of information about what maybe needs to change there. There could be something in your home or your family that triggers that within you, and kind of puts tension on you to look at that or change something about your career or your image in some way. And then we have the moon moving into Scorpio later on Monday into your area of long term goals and visions. There could be some emotional clarity you're receiving about your long term goals and visions, maybe also how money plays into that. It could be a big theme on Tuesday there of getting that like emotional clarity about your values and money and how you really need to maybe make some necessary changes to have everything line up in the way that you want to with your long-term goals and visions, maybe even related to community as well, or how you're serving with your gifts, how you're showing up on social media, all that kind of stuff feels like a big theme of this new moon later on Wednesday, because it is also on Mercury retrograde. So there's this mental reevaluation of your long-term goals, visions, social media, maybe even your relationship with social media, like what you consume, um, and setting new intentions to have a new beginning in that area of your life. It's going to be the theme of the new moon in Scorpio for you. Later on Thursday, the moon moves into your area of the subconscious, so you could be like taking everything that you got information about or you got downloads or clarity around early in the week. On Thursday, you could really be taking that internally and end out the week in a little bit of hermit mode. There could be something about your subconscious or something that's going on in your inner world that maybe you're that's being unveiled to you, that's becoming clear to you. You need to change, and there's a lot of an emotional drive and momentum towards making that change in your subconscious on Friday. It's kind of like this internal breakthrough that you receive and you're like, okay, I need to change this, and like you get clarity and like all of a sudden like the it just all clicks and it all makes sense on what you need to do. Then as we end out the week and get into the weekend, the moon moves into Capricorn on Saturday and into your first house. This is really like an emotional renewal of the self. There could be something though early on Saturday that maybe challenges your communication or again kind of challenges what came up about your subconscious that needs to change. We also are beginning Sagittarius season in your area of subconscious. So there could be a lot more illumination of things within your inner world that are coming up for you to really shift and take action on changing. And then as we end out the weekend, there's really this, like I said, emotional renewal of you, of yourself, and maybe what structures and systems you need to have in place around you and your sense of self to feel like you're moving forward on a solid foundation rooted in identity. And that's the week ahead for you, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Aquarius Rising. We start the week off with the moon in Libra in your area of perspective, in your area of long distance travel, but also your philosophies of life. So there might have been something that was triggered in your day to day over the weekend or early on Monday that really kind of has you emotionally focused on, okay, what needs to shift within me or what needs to shift about my perspective to see this differently? It could be a relationship or something that's brought up about your identity kind of thing. Um, and it could be related to what you're doing for money, what you're doing for work and your career, your public reputation and image. As later on Monday, the moon is going to move into your area of public image. And that's also where we're going to have this new moon in Scorpio for you, is going to be in your area of career, public image, reputation, what new intentions and beginnings you're intending to have with your career and how you're presenting yourself to be known for something to the world. There could be something you get emotionally clear about, emotional clarity about on Tuesday as the moon moves over Venus. Like there could be some aha moment of like, oh, this is what I need to do because it actually aligns with my values and what I want to be known for in the career and my career, what I want my reputation to be, like how I want to help people. It feels like there's a lot of clarity you receive about that and the changes you need to make to this area of your life Tuesday into Wednesday, also into Thursday, because we have the new moon late on Wednesday into Thursday. So, this whole start of the week, there could be a lot of revelations you receive on how to move forward with your career and public image, especially because Mercury retrograde is the part of this new moon as well. Later on Thursday, the moon moves into Sagittarius, into your area of long-term goals and visions. You could get emotional clarity on what you want to change about your, maybe even your community, like who you're spending time around, who you're helping with your gifts or whatever it is you do for work, like who you're doing it with, who you're doing it for. There could be a lot of emotional clarity you receive about again, like what you're doing for work and how that plays into your long-term goals or visions, or how it doesn't, and what changes need to be made. There could be this emotional drive to make those changes on Friday, because the moon moves over Mars. There could be this big like momentum of like, okay, I got the clarity, and now I'm gonna like really change it because I realize I can't go the way I have been with it anymore. There could be something on Saturday around that, that maybe is challenging with money or with resources. It could literally be like just a mindset thing of like you shifting careers and like, okay, really just trusting that you'll be supported with money in whatever career you choose. And if it's your true passion, like, of course, you're going to be supported with it. So there could be something around money that comes up with that on Saturday. And then as we end out the weekend, there's this focus emotionally on your inner world and what subconscious things are coming up around all of that and what needs restructured. In order to have the mindset shifts and support this new thing that you're stepping into, like internally with your mindset, right? Like what you're telling yourself, how you're talking to yourself about it, what needs to shift in your subconscious to support the changes you're making on the outside is the focus as we end out the week. So that's the week ahead for you, Aquarius. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Pisces rising. We start the week off with the moon in Libra in your area of resources. You could be getting some clarity emotionally, maybe because of some triggers with money or triggers with resources that have been coming up, maybe over the weekend or early on Monday. What you want to do with your investments, what you want to do with debt or taxes. There could be a lot of emotional clarity you're receiving about all that and how to move forward with it. Could be a big theme of what's happening with the new moon that we have Wednesday into Thursday as well, and gearing up for that all week. You're maybe receiving a lot more emotional clarity about what you want to do with resources, and that is related to maybe how your values have changed, this new sense of worthiness maybe that you're stepping into, this new sense of self that you're stepping into, and how you maybe want to make these kind of external changes with things in order to support how you have changed. Maybe on Tuesday, especially as the moon moves over Venus, there could be this emotional clarity you get around values and money, and maybe what needs to change in your perspective or how you're viewing these things in order to have the external changes you want. And like I said, big theme of the new moon we have Wednesday into Thursday, as Mercury retrograde will be a part of it too. So what are you refining about your mindset, about your internal communication as it relates to all of these things? And how are you choosing to view it differently and view it from a maybe more positive place and make the necessary shifts to see that these changes are possible for you, and that like you're worthy of having what you want, even if it's like completely different than anything you've ever known, especially if it's completely different from anything you've ever known. As we get into Thursday, the moon moves into your area of career and public image, reputation. You might be getting some emotional clarity about how you want to be known to the world, maybe putting yourself out there more. There could be something that emotionally you feel called to take action on as it relates to that. On Friday, there's a lot of emotional drive towards something, changing something maybe in your career, maybe related to like these mindset shifts that are occurring for you and how you're choosing to view things. There's a lot changing too about how you communicate yourself and your belief in yourself. So there might be something on Friday that really clicks with that, especially later on Friday, because we have Sagittarius season beginning in your area of career and public image. So there's a big focus on how you're known to the world and what image and reputation you're building to the world. And maybe there's changes you're making there that are more in alignment with like your values and what's changing about you. On Saturday, there could be some friction there. There could be some challenges that come up with your career emotionally that maybe challenge you and challenge you to step into a new version of yourself and maybe take the high path or the high road. And then as we end out the weekend, later on Saturday and into Sunday, the moon moves into Capricorn, into your area of long-term goals and visions. So you might be starting to really like plan out things or really getting those structures and systems into place that are going to support the changes you're making to your long-term goals and visions, maybe even your social media presence, in order to support those changes as well. So that is the week ahead for you, Pisces. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. I'm so excited. Let me know how this resonates with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.